Okay, hello everybody. Welcome to Korean Atlanta Mentorship. And in this video, we're just going to have a deep dive discussion into just scams and fraud, right? And the reason I'm making this video is because I was actually a witness to a giant fraud slash scam that fortunately I was not a victim of, but I actually thought it was legitimate, right? It was crazy. I'm not going to get too much into detail, but just seeing that and made me like want to make a video about it because it's so crazy how much effort people will put into scamming and defrauding other people. Like it's crazy, right? And so if you take a look here at the FTC's website, it actually says that in 2023, $10 billion was lost in fraud in the entire nation. $10 billion, right? And it says that investment scabs lead in reported losses at more than 4.6 billion. And so if you see here in this article, it says more that there's a 14% increase over reported losses in 2023 than 2022. So a lot of people are losing money, especially to investment scams, because I think there's a lot of hype over, let's say, cryptocurrency. And I'm not saying that cryptocurrency is bad or anything like that, but I think what happens is that people get lured in by scammers with something along with that line regarding cryptocurrency or things like that because there's a lot of hype and maybe AI nowadays, right? So um, I'm just gonna make a kind of a quick discussion what I think is and is not a scam. And so, in my opinion, what a scam is something that was promised but not delivered. Has nothing to do with monetary value. And once upon a time, I remember this one guy actually promised that he cut my hair for free, and then when I called him up and followed up on it, he acted like I was insane. And I felt scammed then. So again, even though it was a free service that was offered, if they do, if there's no delivery of it, that I have essentially felt scammed, right? And so I know there are companies sometimes out there who make like these promises about how they're going to offer you discounts or offer you free items with their product offering, and then they just never deliver. That essentially is a scam. It doesn't even matter what the cost is. And there are, even quote official things, things from the government, things that society promotes, it can be a scam. Like college, I think may have been a one-time good investment for people of certain generations, but I think nowadays is a giant complete scam because what's the premise of college? The promise is that if you enroll in certain institutions, it's supposed to guarantee a good income or future, especially the politicians who promote it, right? They always say, well, if you go to college, a bachelor's degree is going to increase your income by 20 something percent versus those who only graduate high school, right? And nowadays you see a lot of bad job prospects, so bad job prospects and a lot of student loans, and then they just want to get you out the door, right? And I don't know if you ever seen the statistics, but I think it was like some ridiculous number. I don't know if it was 20% or 40%, but the number one asset of the federal government is student loans. So makes you want to consider why do they promote college so much, right? All right, other things like Social Security, we can't get out of Social Security, right? Like I have to pay the FICA. If you don't know what FICA is, again, talk to an accountant. I'm not an accountant, but I think it's basically comprised of Social Security and Medicare. And I remember once upon a time, someone showed me, like, I think it was in the Social Security statement about how they actually say in the Social Security form that it's going to run out in like 2030 something, right? And I was like, why do I have to pay this if, basically the government is saying I have to pay this because it's promising me a retirement income. And then it's like, oh, just kidding, like somewhere in the back. And it's like, yeah, we're going to run out of money, right? So even like official things may be scam. And that's why it's so hard to figure out what is or what is not a scam. Like I remember when I went to college, I was like, this is a total scam because they're promising me things and they're not delivering on them. And it's so funny how certain sections of society just get like a free pass for doing that. You ever notice like when politicians just get up on stage and they promise all these things and then they get in office and do any of them, nobody really calls them out on it or nobody really cares, right? Oh, geez. So here's the thing. If you just do a quick Google search on Social Security, there's an article here, and I think this was from 2010. Yeah, I'll highlight this. 2010, and they do a bulletin, and I'm pretty sure I could find the latest one. But even as far back as 2010, and I think even I saw this in like 2009. It says that, basically Social Security will be paid until 2037, and that's when it comes becomes it's gone, right? It's like, well, why the F am I paying this? Right? But again, this is just a scam to me as well, right? I don't know why if I don't pay, I gotta go to jail. Like you ain't gonna deliver what you promised me, like especially for our generation. And I feel like society in general is just a giant scam based on who's in power, right? So it's like it's not even based on like nationality or where you were born. It's just like what generation you were in, especially in like the United States, right? So here's the thing. Here's what's not a scam in my opinion. So a lot of people they like to associate prices with scams, but like let's say you take a rundown property in San Francisco, that property will easily at least get $300,000 in the open market, right? But a $300,000 house could be a really nice house here in Georgia or in Alabama, right? Or in Ohio. So the price point is not necessarily the scam, and having little value is not a scam either, right? The not because what it is that whatever price that you agree to pay for, just as long as you know what you're paying for it, even if it has little value, it's not a scam, right? And the easiest example that I can think of this is the I Am Rich app. So I don't know if you ever heard of this, but when the iPhone was first coming out, somebody made an app in 2008 called I Am Rich. And basically, it did almost nothing, was priced at $999.99, and it was pulled from the Apple Store or App Store for less than 24 hours after its launch, right? So 15 years ago. So it's been a long time. But the thing is that people were buying it. Like people were buying it. 8 people bought it. And so, is this a scam? I don't think it is because basically the app didn't promise you anything, right? It's just a way to kind of conflate your ego because you do have money and you're able to buy it, but it's not a scam because even though it has little value, you understood what it was providing and it delivered on that little value for that high price, right? So, this is why I say like scams have nothing to do with the price points and the value of it. It's just did you promise or did you deliver on what you promised, right? So even if it's free, you could feel scammed, right? Like let's say I had a store that has was I advertised, oh, we're having all these disc free items for sale, right? Or not for sale. We're giving away free items, but that's like a ploy to get you into the store. And then we just said, oh, we ran out. And I think this happened to somebody I know a long time ago, but I can't remember what context. Um, and so basically, what was promised was not delivered. Then that's essentially a scam. Has nothing to do with money. So here's my quote way of preventing scams, and this isn't foolproof. And here's the thing: I never say that like I'm going to be foolproof and not getting scammed because I'm pretty sure people are getting more and more sophisticated by the day, and the way that I kind of prevent myself, or my way of getting scammed is just building relationships and doing small transactions with people. So let's say like there's somebody who's a vendor and they have different price points, right? Because every vendor should have different price points. And there's that thing where it's like, okay, there's the loss leader or the low price point that you want to give away stuff but in order to bring them in so that they buy the higher price point stuff. So if let's say I'm doing business with someone and they have like $100 offering, right? And but they also have like $10,000, $20,000 offerings. So I'm never in general going to buy that ten or $20,000 offerings, right? If they have $100 offering, and because for me the point of the $100 offering is like a relationship builder. Okay, so if I buy that $100 offering and they can't deliver on that $100 job, how am I supposed to give you $100,000? Right? And I understand there are things where it's like a Ponzi scheme where they'll pay you, you pay them, and then you get paid for the first couple of times, and because your money has been shifted from A to B, right? Like that's why you're getting paid. But I'm just saying in general, right? In general, if I'm doing business with you at a lower price point and you can't deliver on that, that's essentially me the price I paid to figure out whether you're worth doing business with or not, right? And so, if you can't do the $100 job well, how are you supposed to do the $100,000 job well, right? And that's pretty much the only way that I can think of whether I'm getting scammed, whether someone I'm doing business with for the first time is going to scam me or not. And I know it's not like high tech or anything, but that's like I think the only way that you can really figure out if somebody's trustworthy. So if you do like 10 transactions, and think about like this is how banks work too, right? So the way that banks basically know if you're worthy or not is you build a relationship with them. You mean you get a checking account with them, they your credit profile, do you always pay your bills on time? So if you're able to pay your bills and you got a good credit profile, then they'll lend you money, right? Because you've done many transactions with them. And so that $500 credit card will essentially turn to $1,000 credit card and to a $5,000 credit card. That's how I essentially built all my lines of credit, which is why I have $258,000 in lines of credit right now, because I understand that, hey, you got to build relationships, and it doesn't have to be with an actual person, right? All when they say building relationships with banks, it just means using their products and not trying to scam or defraud them, right? And letting them make a little bit of money, um, and having some income at it as well. Well, yeah, so it's just a quick discussion about scams in general. It's crazy how so many people are getting defrauded nowadays. And, I was just a witness to a scam recently, like literally last week, and I was like, oh my goodness, this actually fooled me, right? But, I thank God, thank my lucky stars for not, you know, being a victim, but it's unfortunate that we live in a society where people will put so much effort to defraud others, and that all that effort that could have been used to defraud others, you could have built a legitimate business. And now I'm like dumbfounded, right? You're at dumbfounded when people put all this effort into scamming people when they literally could have just put all that effort into building a legitimate business and built something really successful. I don't know. It's kind of like what the Joker says, that some people just want to cause chaos. It's crazy. All right. Well, this is Korean Atlanta Mentorship. If you're interested in joining our group, go ahead and click the Google form link below. Other than that, have a great day, and we'll speak next time.